let's practice measuring, finding the perimeter of this object. So the key here is to pull out your ruler and just measure it at a straightforward level. We're just gonna imagine we have a ruler, and if we're to measure this in centimeters, for example, if this was to be, put the 0 here, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 5, and you can look at the centimeters divided into 10 subdivisions, and you can actually count the millimeters. So for example, if it was around here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 point, if there's two little ticks here left, we can say this is 4.8 centimeters. In the same way, you can measure from this corner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then if there was 1, 2, 3 ticks, for example, this would be 10.3 centimeters. And you would do the same with this side and this side. And we're just going to guesstimate here. We're going to say this is 9.8 centimeters, and we'll just make up a number here, 7.1 centimeters. The perimeter here would simply be these 4 numbers all added up. Now imagine we have this same question, but we're dealing with imperial. So the imperial here, the key is to, they would be testing to see if you understand how to read a ruler. So for example, if this was 2 inches and this was 1 inch, and say your ruler was divided into 8 parts. Now be careful, your ruler might actually be divided into 16 parts, so please get to know your own personal ruler. This here is 4 parts, so if I have this, we have 8 parts. So here, imagine this was the reading from here to here, this is the 0 reading. We have 1 inch, and in this particular example, we have 1, 2, 3 teeth. So this would be 1 inch and 3 out of 8 teeth. So imagine this is 1 3/8. In the same way, being careful to dealing with whether you have an 1/8 of an inch ruler or a 1/16 of an inch, we'll just pretend we measure this and say this is 2 1/8 of an inch, and we'll just make this up here saying this is 1 7/8, and we'll just make up this one as 1 1/2, or you could even say 1 4/8 of an inch. Either way is fine. This is not simplified, but the key here is to simply add all the parts. Let's just leave it as 1/2. So if theoretically these were your measurements, the perimeter would be all 4 sides added up. So 1 1/2 plus 1 7/8 plus 2 1/8 plus 1 3/8. When we're dealing with mixed fractions here, you can actually take these whole numbers and add them up first. So the perimeter would be equals to 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 5, and then we'd have to add up all these different parts. So what we have here is we have 1/2. So I'm just going to focus on this one here. 1/2 can be written as 4/8 plus, and what we have here is we have 7/8 plus, we have here 1/8, and what we have here is going to be the plus 3/8. So when looking at this fraction part, what we have is we have 4 plus 7, which is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12, plus 3 is 15. We have 15/8. So converting this to a mixed fraction, we have this as, if it's in once, 1, and it has 7 left over, 7/8. So 5 plus 1 is going to be, so what we have here is 6 7/8 of an inch. Another way of doing this is to convert these all to regular fractions or improper fractions right off the bat. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 plus 1 is 3 over 2, and this one is 1 times 8 is 8, plus 7 is 15 over 8, and what we have here is 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17 over 8, 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11 over 8. And you can see that we can simply add these fractions. And to add the fractions properly, the best way is to have the same common denominator. So let's make this an 8. So we're multiplying by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So you add all these different numerators. So let's do that. You can see that this way is probably easier than what I just did before. So what we have here is the denominator of 8. And what we get here is 55 over 8. Or is the same as 8 times what is around 55? 6. 8 times 6 is 48. So we have 6. And 55 minus 48 is 7, 8. So this answer matches this answer, and it's advisable that you use this second technique as it causes less confusion. So generally when we're talking about these perimeter questions using the metric rulers, centimeters, millimeters, it's pretty straightforward, just count the number of teeth. What's a bit more confusing is when you're dealing with imperial rulers, you have to know how to count teeth, whether you're dealing with an 1/8 or 1/16th, and the key here is knowing how to add fractions. And when dealing with mixed fractions, it's advisable that you convert these mixed fractions to improper fractions, the ones where you simply have a numerator and denominator without this number in front. Now these questions are pretty straightforward. Keep in mind that as you're measuring using a ruler, and if there is a number already on the provincial, for example, if the provincial says that this here is half an inch, keep in mind that you should verify if the diagram is to scale. So if they say that this is half an inch, you should use a ruler and verify if it indeed is half an inch. For example, if this question was drawn to say half a kilometer, and then clearly we're dealing with a scale problem, which you have to set up a fraction, which we'll do in another example.